Today, February 17th, 2026, we have a major astrological event. It is the new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius, the first of the Aquarius Leo cycle of eclipses that will be happening off and on over the next several years. This is the first of those, and it is in the big astrological month of February 2026, which if you've watched the collective video or any of the videos by sign, you will understand that this is a very big astrological month, and this is a big solar eclipse. If you've watched my new and full moon videos before, you know that I like to break it down step by step as we go through it so that you can understand kind of why I and other astrologers are saying what they're saying about this eclipse to kind of help you learn astrology at the same time. Now, before we begin with that, I'd like to just introduce myself for those that are new here. Hi, I'm Sarah at Life with Training Wheels, where I utilize Western tropical zodiac astrology, whole sign system, tarot, and other spiritual and health and wellness tools such as singing bowls, tuning forks, other spiritual tools, meditation, things like that, to help you reach your highest and best potential, to help you learn and discover more about yourself, to learn any self-limiting beliefs, self-sabotaging behaviors, see where you may be stuck in some victim mentality, and learn to release that and let it go so that you can be your highest and best self, and learn that you really are in the driver's seat of your own life and how you experience life, and to take back control, and to ultimately be more intimate with yourself and know yourself more intimately so that you can love and accept yourself just the way you are and all your uniqueness. If that sounds like something you want to stick around for, a vibe you can vibe with, then please go ahead and interact with this video in some way. Give me a like, a comment, a subscribe, anything you can will help this tiny little channel grow, because this is my passion. Doing these videos are a labor of love, but it is not my full-time job. I'm not making any money at it, but I would eventually love to be able to do this full-time. So any support you can give me, I greatly, greatly appreciate. Now let's go ahead and start talking about the astrology of today, the new moon solar eclipse. So first, let's start at the basics. What is a new moon? What is the marker for that? That is when the sun and the moon are conjunct in the sky. They're right next to each other. So that is a new moon, and whenever the sun or whenever any planets are conjunct, it is them starting a new cycle. So this is a new cycle beginning in the 28th degree. It's happening at 28 degrees, 49 minutes of Aquarius. So this is a new cycle of the moon and the sun, representing like our ego, what we're here, our vitality, what we're here to do and be, right, is the sun. And then moon is more our emotions, our home, so we have the sun and the moon coming together, our minds and our emotions basically coming together to birth a new cycle in the sign of Aquarius. So each new moon is birthing a new cycle, but it might be in a different sign, right? So it's always a good time to plant seeds because your mind and your emotions are on the same level. So you're like all online, right? Everything within you is agreeing, and you've got the same emotional and like mental goals. So it's a good time to plant seeds of intention, and it just overall is a time when new beginnings, whether you're intentionally creating them or not, new beginning seeds are being planted. And each month, these new moons take place, like I said, in a different sign. This month, we are in the sign of Aquarius. So then we look at what is Aquarius overall. What does that energy represent? Well, Aquarius represents a lot of things. It is an air sign. It is a fixed air sign. It represents our mind and our intellect. It represents information. It represents technology, innovation, invention, thinking outside of the box. It's very forward thinking as well. It is looking at, it's like the collective. It is looking at like, it's got two rulers. It's traditional ruler is Saturn, which represents like boundaries and structures and organizations and things like that. And then its modern ruler is Uranus, which is all about doing things differently, looking at things from a different angle. It's that more innovative, invention, rebellious, revolutionary type thought process. So then you combine these two together, and that's what makes Aquarius so fascinating, is it's like we don't want to throw everything out. We want to keep whatever foundation with Saturn is worthwhile keeping, but we want to build and do something new and different and better. We want to take what works, what we know works, and then build on it and make it better. So that is kind of the revolutionary, the innovative spirit. And it is very revolutionary. And very intellectual, and it represents, because it's innovative and everything like that, it represents technology too. So AI and the internet and all of those things it represents as well. With it being an air sign, it represents things like air travel also. So just looking at that, you can see that these new beginnings that are being planted and seeded right now, and new intentions that you can intentionally work with, would be, where do you need to be more revolutionary in your life? Where do you need to be more innovative, more rebellious? Where do you need to look at what's working, what foundation is working, but where can you do something better? Where can you make a shift, make a change, do something in a new way to keep moving yourself and society forward, right? And to keep things interesting for yourself. Aquarius is also, because it's the collective and it's doing things different and trying to improve, it also has a lot of hopes and dreams associated with it. So it is an energy where we do want to look forward and think of how things can get better and how things can be done better for not only the benefit of ourselves, but for the benefit of society at large. It's in that way as well. It is very much a sign of humanitarian efforts, of doing things for other people, not just for ourselves. So that's on a collective level, and then on an individual level, you would look to see where Aquarius is in your chart, and this is the area of life that this energy is going to be focused. And with it being at the later degrees, at almost the 29th degree of Aquarius, the way I'm looking at this new beginning is that it being in the later degrees, you've gone through all the other degrees of Aquarius. So you've reached some type of maturity in Aquarius as all the personal planets have moved through there this month. So this, a lot of times when the way I view life is it's kind of like a spiral, right? We're continually on this spiral, and that's why sometimes healing can feel like it takes so long, right? When you feel like you've gotten rid of a certain mindset or something like that, it's that you've gotten rid of the mindset that kept you here, and you've grown, and now you're coming back around and having an opportunity to look at the same thing from this level of awareness now. So we have reached, we started down here and we've reached this level of maturity, so now we have a new beginning up here at this level. So it's kind of like, if you're thinking about video games, right? It's like we're leveling up. So this new beginning is kind of like a graduation point in my mind. But then, with some new moons and full moons, you throw on eclipse season. So eclipses happen when the new moon or full moon are within about a 16-degree conjunction of the north or south node. This new moon is in conjunction, in a wide conjunction with the north node. So the north node also brings new things. The south node is kind of where we want to let go of things, or if something new is popping up, it's usually something, returning from our past or something like that. Whereas the North Node is bringing completely new experiences in, and they, the nodes are said to be the nodes of fate. So this is a fated new beginning happening in the Aquarius area of your life. Now, everybody will experience this energy, right? Everybody will experience potentially new things coming in for them, and it might not be right now. So this solar eclipse happens for about 2 minutes long, and it's said that however many minutes long it lasts, the energy of this eclipse lasts for that number of years. So the energy of this eclipse, this is like the seeding point. So you may not know anything new coming in right now, but it has the opportunity to show up over the next 2 years. And it would be when planets are engaging with this 28, almost 29 degrees of Aquarius over the next 2 years. So that is going to be a point that you want to look out for. Things might be showing up as planets continue to, transit over that point. But if you don't have any personal natal planets or points near these degree points, at the later degrees of Aquarius or the other fixed signs, especially Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, then you may not feel this as abruptly, or as it may not show up as strongly. You may not notice it as much, but if you do have planets or points interacting, then this is definitely something that you are going to notice, and that is going to show up in your life if you are paying attention. Or could end up being one of those things that you notice in hindsight. Like, you might not notice it right now because maybe you're too in it or whatever, but like 5 years from now, you might look back to this eclipse and be like, oh, that's when that happened, and the trajectory of my life changed after that, right? That it can have that type of energy, especially if it is hitting your natal chart hard. Like, eclipses have the ability to change the trajectory of your life. So that is one of the reasons why this is very exciting, because there's that energy for all of us, right? Not only is that individually, but that's the collective energy as well, as things are going to show up in the collective that changes the trajectory of the collective and where we're moving as a whole, which we can all feel the revolutionary energy of the times, right? So then, now that we've gone over kind of the brief overview of what this all is, now I like to bring up the chart and bring into it all the other aspects that are going on that make this new moon unique. As every year, right, we have a new moon in Aquarius, but not every year do we have an eclipse in Aquarius, an eclipse new moon, a solar eclipse, right? Not every month do we have the same interactions with the other planets, and that's what makes each new moon feel different every year. So now I've got the chart pulled up, and this is where it starts getting fun. Okay, so now that I have the chart pulled up, let's start talking about this in a little bit more detail. So first of all, what makes this solar eclipse in Aquarius different than the last several eclipses in Aquarius is that, so like I said at the beginning, eclipses are when the new moon or full moon are within about 16 degrees of the north or south node. And eclipses happen in the same signs, the same polarized signs, about every 9 years. So it takes about 9 years for the north and south node to move through signs to get to the other side, and it takes about 18 years to get back to the same point. So because they last about a year and a half in each sign. So the last time we had a solar eclipse in Aquarius with the North Node was in 2008. But the thing that was different then is that the North Node was in the sign of Aquarius. This time, the North Node is still hanging out here in Pisces. So one of the things that this brings to this solar eclipse, like we've talked about, is both new moons and eclipses, especially with the North Node, are bringing fated new events to you. A couple things with this is that, you know, it's harder to tell with this energy being in Pisces if these new fated events are more related to the Aquarius areas of your chart or the Pisces areas of your chart, or kind of merging them both together. I would generally probably say it is more like they are merging them together. So wherever Aquarius and Pisces are in your chart, those two things, like whatever's showing up, is going to be affecting both of those, or something along those lines. The other thing is that, you know, Aquarius is this very rebellious energy. It is innovative. It is all the things we talked about. Whereas Pisces is still that that Christ-like consciousness, that universal love, that boundarylessness where we can be connected to the other realms and to spirit and to God and source and the universe and whatever term you want to use it. It's where we are learning to trust in the unseen, right? The veil is lifting and truths are being shown to us, but we still need to hold on to, like, this North Node in Pisces is like this holding on to our intuition. Like, as the veil is lifted and we aren't sure what's true and what's not, like, we really, instead of using so much logic, we need to really trust our intuition. So that's the other thing that this is saying. So these new beginnings are like, you might not. That's the other thing. You might not see it right away, especially as the North Node is out of sign, right? So we might not see whatever is being planted here until we have a lunar eclipse, I believe it is, in August in Leo. We might be able to see whatever is being planted here then. But to trust, really have that faith that whatever's coming in is good. And I was going to say something else, but I lost my thought. Or maybe just like collectively, we're in this revolutionary energy, this rebellious energy to keep the collective universal compassion energy in mind as we are rebelling against the structures that are. Okay, so then we start building on top of that. So we have the sun and the moon here at 28 degrees, and a conjunction is anything within 10 degrees, right? So an orb of influence. So we would consider Mercury here, or Mars here, in conjunction with this new moon. So what is Mars? Mars is an energy of a lot of different things. Mars, in its highest vibration, is our passions, our desire, our willpower, our motivation. So whatever we may need to make a change, like if something new is coming up for us, something sudden shows up for us and we need to make a change, we need to move on something, we need to move on an opportunity or something like that, Mars gives us the go-ahead to do that. On a more, I guess, lower vibrational, although depending on the situation, it's not necessarily lower vibrational, Mars can also sever and cut things. It can end things. It is the warrior. It can fight if it needs to. So if there is something that a revelation or something like that needs to be cut and ended, Mars can help you do that. But whatever it is, regardless, there's the motivation and the desire to either go after the thing or to end the thing, and to trust the intuition of that inner knowing at this time. Before we talk a little bit more about the Pisces energy, I want to talk more about the energy in Aquarius. So at the last, in 2008, the Aquarius solar eclipse did not have Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. So this is the first and only solar eclipse in Aquarius, or the only eclipse cycle, right? Because the North Node is going to move into Aquarius later this year and will be there for like the next year and a half, right? But so this is, when we've had solar eclipses in Aquarius before, we haven't had the transformative energy of Pluto going along with it. Pluto is that transformative planet, that wanting to dig for the truth, wanting to uncover hidden things, that being obsessive and possessive and not letting things go type energy. And then you have that combined with Mars here, which is also we're going to go after it. You have these very two powerful energies of, we're going to go after the thing, we're going to discover the thing, it's going to transform everything. So it's kind of like this very much transformative energy that we're under. Like whatever is going to be coming new to us right now is going to transform everything. And then if we look at the conversations that the planets in Aquarius are having as well, so the sun and the moon and this Mars are doing a couple things. Number one, they are in a sextile over here to Chiron in Aries, which this means that whatever's coming in right now is helping us heal this I am wound, this Chiron in Aries of where we've held ourselves small, where we've not been who our authentic selves, who we truly are, maybe not even known who we are. So the truths of knowing who we are, not only individually, but perhaps even as a species, is going to be coming out with this, which can be exciting. And then, also on an individual level, healing that wounding that you have, being, more willing to be seen for who you are, recognized for who you are, those types of things. And then the other conversation is there is this square over here to Uranus in Taurus, and Uranus is one of the Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius. So this is, an even more potent energy because it is the ruler and it is in square. So there is this tension point a little bit between the ruler and this, and Uranus, is the planet of anytime it's being aspected, you expect the unexpected. It is what shakes things up. Either things show up or disappear from your life unexpectedly. You can't plan for it. Very similar to the energy that a north node brings. So there's a lot of new, unexpected, you can't plan for it type energy with this new moon solar eclipse. You don't know what new things are coming your way, but new things are coming your way. And this could relate to whatever the Taurus areas of your chart are. Collectively, that is like the financial markets, our resources, our food, agriculture, things like that. Overall value systems, are being shaken up and moved around and changed, and we can't see it coming. These changes coming, we can't see them coming. So there could be a lot of, and this could squares, although are tension points, it's not always, it might feel challenging or something in the moment, but it's not always bad things. Life is happening for us, not to us. And if you learn to roll with the punches, roll what's being coming your way, you generally tend to see the good and the blessings that are coming out of it. So there could be blessings coming from your wherever Taurus is in your chart, to the Aquarius areas of your chart. So, this is where you'd want to go back and look at the videos that I've done by sign, fast forward to February 17th, so you can kind of see where in your life these areas might be playing out and get a better idea of how to map this more to you personally. So then moving on, before we move to Pisces, talking about that energy, the traditional ruler of Aquarius is Saturn here, which is at the 0 degree point of Aries, which is that potent degree point, which we have talked about in the forecast, the February forecast as well. This is this very potent energy. It is the beginning degree of the entire zodiac wheel. It is the birthing point. So whatever new is coming in for you during this eclipse is fated, and with Saturn especially being structure and foundation and the ruler of this, it is going to change. It is going to clearly things are going to change, but whatever change is coming, it is going to be here for the long haul. It is going to have stability. It is going to have a strong foundation to it. It's not something that's going to shift and fall out from underneath you later on. So it's got a lot of staying power to it. And then with this Neptune energy and these coming to an exact conjunction just 3 days after this is the energy of, dreaming. Neptune is that dreamer, that visionary, that creative. So this really is a time to, although with the North Node and Uranus being involved in us not being able to know or understand what's coming to us, I think we can still work with the dreamer aspect of Neptune and think about the most amazing things that we can think of. What is the most beautiful world that we can imagine living in? And this eclipse energy and this Saturn is going to help us ground that in. Maybe if we all put our intention on dreaming about the most beautiful world, the most harmonious world, the most whatever, or even in our own personal lives, especially in whatever area Aries falls in your chart and in your life, dreaming up the most beautiful thing that you can dream up in that area of your life, this eclipse might be bringing it to you only better than you could have ever imagined, right? Or with more stability than you could have ever dreamed up. It's like this dreaming energy, but leave room open for the unexpected of it being better than you could have ever even thought. That's how I'm feeling this energy, very much so. And then if we get into Pisces, right? So this solar eclipse is happening because of this North Node in Pisces, which we already talked a little bit about. But this North Node is in conjunction with Venus, a benefic planet, and Venus is exalted in Pisces. That's where it really likes to be. That's where it does best, right? Because Venus is a planet of love and relationships and stuff like that, and Pisces is this energy of the universal love, the compassion, the grace, the bigger one love of God, right? And so Venus here is kind of giving me the feeling that whatever is coming in is imbued with love and imbued definitely with your highest and best, and that it's going to be beautiful and it's going to bring some creativity. And, Venus is also finance. It's your money. So bringing potentially some financial abundance and everything with it as well. And then we also have Mercury here in a little bit of a wider conjunction, right? This Venus is right up on this North Node. This Mercury is a bit further away, but still within 10 degrees. And so it is, Mercury is our mind and our communication and information and things like that. So I think overall we're going to be, this is imbuing these new things coming through. Perhaps it is just a shift in consciousness that we're having that could be the new sudden thing, right? Especially Uranus also kind of represents that sudden download, sudden intuition, sudden connection to the higher realms and things like that. And so this Mercury could be, bringing in the information or giving us the intuitive hits of what's being planted now. So we might not see it yet. We might not see whatever's coming in until August or so, when we have the lunar eclipse in Leo. But we might be getting gut instincts of what is coming in, and that could be the Mercury here. And then the other beautiful things, we have the two most benefic planets involved in this new moon solar eclipse. So that, also gives me the idea that this is really beautiful energy. So we also have this trine here to Jupiter retrograde in Cancer. And Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, so it's also happy where it is. And like I've said in many of my videos, Jupiter retrograde in the sign of Cancer, which also often represents ancestry, and Jupiter can represent wisdom, and retrograde is like this more internal or things revisiting from the past, right? Like past opportunities might be coming up from wherever the Cancer falls in your chart. But I also think on a collective scale, this is bringing ancient wisdom, ancient knowledge back to the forefront and blessing us with it, right? Blessing us with it so that we can learn to, with this Saturn and Neptune, embody it, right? Because Neptune is the co-ruler of Pisces. Jupiter and Neptune rule Pisces, and Saturn and Uranus rule Aquarius. So there's something big happening here right now that is life-changing for all of us. And if you have planets or points that are interacting with any of these, you are going to be feeling this more than others. It might be, a big event in your life, or, within the next year or so, it might be a big event in your life happening. Again, to get a little bit more clarity on what that might be, go back and listen to the monthly forecast by sign and just fast forward to February 17th. I don't go into this much detail about the particular aspects that everything is doing, but I do talk about the different houses and what they represent in your chart. And overall, whether retrograde or not, Jupiter, whatever it touches, likes to bring luck and abundance and opportunity and growth and expansion and knowledge and wisdom and things like that. So this is, and along with Pluto being a seeker of truth, and Saturn lifting, and Neptune being out of Pisces, like the veil being lifted, like I think there's some real knowledge that is about to come our way, which is about our world and our existence, which is very exciting, because then we can build a new foundation based upon the new knowledge that we have. The other thing I just want to mention is, I've talked about this in a lot of my videos, is that, we still are under the influence, although this line back here is definitely more faint right now, but it goes through phases of being faint and then being really strong. We still are under this influence of this divine mini grand trine, and I call it divine because it's all the outer planets, the higher octaves of the more personal planets. So we have Pluto, right, engaged in this solar annular eclipse in Aquarius. We have that interacting and pointing to, guiding us toward this Saturn-Neptune energy being really potent, right? And then we have Uranus making a sextile here as well, and then Uranus and Pluto. So these are still all working together, right? All working together to make these transformational shifts, to uncover the truths and go through the phoenix rising, right? Go through the caterpillar turning into a butterfly, going into this metamorphosis, and then Uranus, the shock and awe, the sudden movements that need to happen, or the sudden downloads of information coming in, and then they are all pointing towards this Saturn and Neptune being the focal point, and it's really grounding in whatever new is coming in at this time, because of the fact that Neptune is one of the rulers of Pisces and Saturn is one of the rulers of Aquarius. So we have this new moon solar eclipse that is also blending the Aquarius and Pisces energies together. So this is really big energy. So I'd really look to where all these things are occurring in your personal chart. And one last thing before we go, I wanted to read the Sabian symbol of the 28th or 29th degree, because you round up for Sabian symbols, of this degree point of the solar eclipse, because I think Sabian symbols do give us a lot of information and guidance of what we are moving through. So this Sabian symbol beautifully talks about a butterfly emerging from a chrysalis, which I talked about with that Pluto connection as well. So shifting our spiritual level. A seeker typically progresses in small steps, but occasionally has major shift of awareness into a new level of consciousness. Shift your spiritual level up a notch. There is much knowledge to be gained in normal life for the spiritual aspirant, but it is not enough to take us the whole way. To master the circle of life with its cycles and directed evolutionary changes is a necessary condition, but it is not sufficient. We need to undertake the further step of commitment to a path of guidance where we are shown what otherwise we could not see by ourselves, and that could be the wisdom of that Jupiter coming in. Spiritual initiation is a particular event that occurs between a guide and a disciple, which involves sacredness, vows, and a fundamental shift of perspective. It has a magical quality and an alchemical effect. The disciple is transformed on the inner planes and so undergoes a metamorphosis. The wonder of creation is being continually reborn. There is a voracious appetite for experience, an insatiable well of curiosity for knowledge, and a constant mental yearning to get to the bottom of things. This propels individuals to seek answers to inner questions. Mind is the cornerstone of humanity's supremacy on Earth, and we invest hugely in the intellect in order to develop and maintain our self-assurance. This is required to function with an effective certainty of purpose. What springs forth spontaneously in response to persistent questing for knowledge is an emanation of new ideas. Each one is like a butterfly in its ephemeral transience. Some of these ideas trickle forward and without the force to survive are lost. Others grow like streams that become rivers feeding into the ocean of humanity's collective conception of existence. The root of this activity is the elemental self-regeneration of mind. At a personal level and at the universal level, the mind needs to go through a process of constant renewal in order to purify itself so that its outpourings are sparkling and clear. We have to learn and understand that somehow the degenerative aspect of mentality, to be sluggish, lazy, and crystallized into hard opinion, staunch belief, and unwillingness to learn, can be overcome. Pushing away from such dysfunction to affirm our faith in life's promise, we awaken a more fluid way of creative thinking. There is then a sense of continually being reborn to an even greater expanse of awareness that has the eagerness of emergent new life, with a thirst to take in every scrap of knowledge from all perspectives. We are all co-creating creation in each moment. The feeling we get when we remember this and fervently participate with it is a blend of incomparable keenness, wonder, and amazement. And this is a great reminder. Comment below with how you feel, how you have felt this message, but it is definitely a call to take part in absorbing the knowledge that's coming our way, absorbing the truths, as difficult as they may be, coming our way, so that we can participate in creating that society, that dreamlike vision that we want to. So that's all I'll say about that. I hope you enjoyed the inclusion of this, and comment below with how you're feeling this, if you're excited, if you're not. Also, this, any way that you can interact with this greatly helps me out. And it really does help my tiny channel grow. So any way that you can do that, because I really do want to make this my full-time job. It is not my full-time job right now, but I would love to be able to do this because it is truly my passion. And I just want to keep learning and studying more and teaching you guys more. And so any way that you can engage and help make that happen for me, I greatly appreciate it. Anyway, let me know how you're feeling this, and I hope you have a wonderful solar eclipse on this February 17th. Until my next video, have a great day.